So, Namaste, hero.
How you doing, brother? 15 years ago. Look, dude, I started off in the army. I joined the army at 17. From there, I ended up working in the mines over in Western Australia. So from that, I basically went traveling, spent some of my money, came back to Australia. My parents were like, look, you're not wasting an opportunity. You're 22 years old. Get yourself a job and we'll fly you back to the UK. So I did, but I got a job as a stripper and told my parents it was going to be security.
You succeeded in all of them, kind of, right? How did you achieve it so earlier? Like, what were some traits? Because you went to bodybuilding, you achieved so many credits.
I was undiagnosed ADHD for a very long time.
Okay.
And that really came out in COVID. It came out in COVID because everything stopped. We lost everything.
What are top 2 practices that someone can do for self-love?
Oh, meditation.
Meditation.
No, 100%. Like, I never would have thought I'd be sitting here talking about meditation. I never thought my big thing would be about meditation and personal growth ever in my life.
Wow, when you say Dhamma lessons.
So you learn, Dharma is the truth. Dharma is like, it's like the Bible. It's like the Quran. It's like these things. It's in Buddhism. But the thing is, Buddhism is a way of life. It's not a religion. People think it's a religion. It's not religion. It's a way of life.
So, Namaste, hero.
How you doing, brother?
Welcome to the Namaste Hero podcast. Happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So we have been hearing a lot about you. You have been quite famous in your entertainment industry and now in this spiritual industry.
Yeah.
So would love to know so many things that you do and everyone is excited about you having here. So
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much. It depends. What would you like to know? Where do I start?
Amazing. So let's start from your journey over a span of 15 years ago. Let's say, where were you 15?
Oh my God, 15 years ago. Look, dude, I started off in the army. I joined the army at 17. From there, I ended up working in the mines over in Western Australia. From working in the mines in Western Australia, my friends convinced me to move to the UK. So from that, I basically went traveling, spent some of my money, came back to Australia. My parents were like, look, you're not wasting an opportunity. You're 22 years old. Get yourself a job and we'll fly you back to the UK. So I did, but I got a job as a stripper and told my parents it was going to be security.
And they knew it.
Yeah, they believed me because they paid for my flight. They did all that for me. And look, my parents love them. They supported me and they wanted me to do something with my life because they knew I was never, like, Australia is where I was born. Okay. I am Australian, but it just doesn't resonate with me there. Like, I've been home and every time I go home, I feel like a tourist in my own country. And I found my adult life was in the UK because that's where it was. I developed my adult life. I started stripping. At the same time, I made can I swear on this? Yeah. I made fuck all money. And at the same time, I was living on a friend's couch. And then from there, we started a job working with the Defence Force as like enemy party. So we were doing certain things with them. And then I got a job, I did a photo shoot. From that, the photo shoot, it was a scam. My parents actually paid £600 for some very average photos, but those photos got me the first job with Forbidden Nights. If you can see, I've got like Forbidden tattooed there. I've got it tattooed around my leg. Like, these guys were my life for the 10 years in the UK. Wow. They brought me in to be a host.
So you're gonna have a tattoo?
Well, this is it. When something truly means something to me, like, again, these guys took a chance on me when no one else would. Like I said, when I got there, I saw the show, I loved the show, and they brought me on stage and said, ladies, it's Ozzy's birthday, who thinks he should strip? So I got on there and I did the normal strip routine, then took them upstairs, took all the ladies upstairs for photos. A few days later, the boss, Billy, gave me a call and he's like, look, we can't afford to have you. And I was like, dude, I will work for free. I just want to be a part of what you have. Like, I really love this and I want to be here. So he goes, I'll call you back in about half an hour, and said, I'll give you £50 a show. And from that, every single weekend, we only had Saturday shows at that point in time. But for every single Saturday, I was there early. I was setting the show up. I was helping with the rig. I was setting the chairs. I was working my ass off because I had nothing to lose. So I think a few weeks into it, we'd finished setting up, and the show was like a sexy circus. So you had fire, pole, you had singers, you had a break dancer, and some other things. But basically, I picked up the fire staff and I started spinning. And the boys were like, we didn't know you could do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's one thing I can do. And a few weeks later, I got told they were then going to put me in rehearsals. And I was like, what? No. A week later, I was in rehearsals. And we were learning our Britain's Got Talent routine. So we did Britain's Got Talent in 2015.
Wow.
And I'm a rugby player by trade. So I was tripping over my own 2 feet. So they had to teach me how to dance. It took me 3 weeks to learn half a routine. It was wild. But from that man who I was to 3 or 4 years later, I was center of the poster, almost like the face of the show.
Wow.
And you should see me learning. The only music I ever had in my ears when I was in the gym, when I was anywhere, was the music I needed for my routines. I was learning in the gym. I was learning in the shower. I was at home. I was rehearsing everywhere because I'm like, I'm terrible at this. I want to be good at this, so I need to do it. But that helped me find my place on stage, my passion being on stage. And it wasn't just your traditional strip show. We were in theaters. It's a 2-hour show, choreographed routines, full rigging, stage lighting, everything. At the same time, I was bodybuilding. I became a professional bodybuilder in 3 federations. World title, British title, European title, 7 firsts, 3 seconds. And the other one's in the Pro League. I then tore my lat, actually, so I've got a lat injury there. I then realized after that had happened, I couldn't win anymore. So bodybuilding was one thing that got pushed aside. I was an online coach. I was working in the adult scene. So I was doing things called muscle worship. I was on OnlyFans. I was working at kink parties. Like, I was doing everything. I was also married. And now divorced. But it was like, when I got divorced in 2020, we split up in 2022, I really started diving deep into my journey.
And was it because of all of that?
No. That was something. We were both kind of in the same industry. So that wasn't because of that. That was all a lot of personal things. But the thing was, that was when I probably started diving deep into my journey. It had always been happening.
Okay.
Always been behind the scenes. There were books that I'd come across. There were movies that I'd see. And there were things that were working slowly in the background. Like, I remember when I first moved to London in 2014, I think it was. I'd read the book Asking Is Given by Esther Hicks. And that is what got me started on affirmations. So every morning I had this whole thing of affirmations. I'd be going to bed and waking up going, and it was all external. I wasn't very aware of the internal world at this point in time, but it was working. It was, I'm successful, I am rich, I am wealthy, I'm financially free, financially independent, multiple streams of income coming to me every single day, all these things. Because I don't know how I lived at that point. I was paying £400 a month rent for my house, £500 a month rent for the gym, and I was making barely £1,000 a month.
Oh.
So I don't remember how I was making money, but I was living. From there, again, everything was working slowly. I was doing breath work. I was trying to learn to meditate. I got diagnosed with ADHD. There were all these things that happened.
Wow.
And when I finally left the UK, I said, we're going through the divorce. The UK no longer felt like home. I needed to find a job back in Australia. So I got back into stripping. But the stripping was very different. The stripping was 15 minutes on stage. You have to get 5 girls in that routine, naughty as possible. Like, I was getting naked, wagging myself around on stage. Like, It was all sorts. But with that came the really heavy negative energy, because it was a really toxic environment to be in. A lot of toxic masculinity. There was also the people from the crowd. You're bringing them on stage, and you are literally taking in their energy. They're drinking. Their vibrations off. There's a lot of divorce parties, a lot of breakups, a lot of these things that people just coming in there with a really raw, horrible energy, and you're taking that in.
And this was not at the first beginning when you...
No, because we were in the UK. We were on theatres, so everyone was in seats. Like, we were doing shows between 30 people all the way up to 1,500 people. So it was a very big difference. Where these ones here, it was like, I don't know, it just felt very toxic.
Makes sense.
But I found myself in 2023 sitting in an apartment by myself. I was meant to be there with my best friend. He was back up on the Sunshine Coast with his ex-girlfriend. So I was there by myself a lot. I'd had an argument with my family, or my parents, and I was really questioning my life. My dog came into my life at that point, and he really saved my life because...
A dog?
A dog. So it was a rescue dog from a friend. She couldn't take him anymore, so she asked if I would have him, and I was like, sure, didn't know I needed him, but he fucking saved my life.
Oh, wow.
Because from there I was able to get out of my head and I was able to focus on the joy and love that the dog was giving me. And with that started switching me into my personal development again. Like I was always listening to podcasts, audiobooks, always learning, always growing, always doing things. But I wasn't aware of the work that was happening subconsciously. It's only when I started becoming properly aware of everything that I'm like, oh shit, I've been doing this work for a long time. And that's where I was, again, podcasts, audiobooks, properly back into my breathwork, routine, training, everything I was doing. And it was when I had a breathwork session. A download came and said, you need to become a breathwork facilitator.
Oh, wow. And that download was through breathwork?
Through breathwork. No, it's through breathwork. So it was the breathwork side of it, but it was in the integration part. So the meditative integration part was when that download came through. So I reached out to people. One of them I run retreats with now. Okay. The other one took me to Western Australia. And from that, he goes, look, we're going to do everything you want to do. We're building retreats. We've got a space. We've got ice baths, breath work, all these things. Come over here. We're doing it for you. You don't need it. Because I was coming off social media as well. And he goes, come over here. Come do it. We'll look after you. I was like, amazing. They brought me in free rent. I didn't have to pay anything because I was building this with them. I was going to become one of their facilitators. Everything was sounding too good to be true. And even though that was happening, I was meeting incredible people that were helping me grow on my journey. So I'm very grateful for that. And I wouldn't change a thing. Just like my marriage, I wouldn't change a thing. Because everything that I went through, everything with bodybuilding, putting myself through 20 weeks of prep to be standing on stage against 30 other guys, to be told if I'm good enough or not by people who have no idea who I am, that's the height of vulnerability. Standing on a stage when when you're literally taking your clothes off in front of people, but you don't know how to dance, and you mess it up, you've got to learn to become an entertainer and to own it. So those experiences, even working in the adult industry, I was learning kinks, I was learning people, I was understanding full acceptance of people through sexuality, through, again, what they were into. I was understanding people. So everything that I've been through, and even marriage, again, learning what it's like to be in a relationship, learning that obviously it takes two to make a relationship fail. But learning about people, learning about mental health, learning about my own triggers and my own problems, also seeing the things in my ex-wife, learning about these, all shaped me to who I am now.
So true.
So I wouldn't change a thing, no matter what. The most horrible things, again, because I learned from them.
I mean, your story is so interesting because when I think about all of the things that you have done, it's like you succeeded in all of them, kind of, right? Yeah. And it's like fascinating me because right now you are already like kind of successful, right? But then how did you achieve it so earlier? Like what were some traits? Because you went to bodybuilding, you achieved so many medals. So what was one thing that you see in common that,
I honestly did. I think I was undiagnosed ADHD for a very long time.
Okay.
And that really came out in COVID. It came out in COVID because everything stopped. We lost everything.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Yeah. Let's
address to the people right now who are watching if they have ADHD or not. How can they?
This is the thing. It's where everyone has. The one thing that really annoys me when people go, "Oh, everyone's got ADHD," doesn't it? It's like, yes, we all have traits of it, but it's on a spectrum. The thing is, you've got the neurotypical people in the middle here, and then you have your neurodivergent people that are out further. We all have traits of it.
So true.
Just some people are a lot more intense than others. I found the heavy, intense focus, whatever I was really good at, I focused in on. There were always signs. There were always signs.
Okay.
But it was that. It was the focus that I needed. It was having no other option but to do something. It was, again, I was so good at bodybuilding that I focused heavy on it. It took me away from social anxiety. And that's why I enjoy being a performer. That's also why I took a lot of drugs. I was addicted because it was social anxiety. It was ways to get through things. There were excuses that came with it. But a lot of it I look at was social anxiety. Again, it was those traits are what helped me become very good at the things that I was doing. And I always thought, this is my life path, this is what I'm doing. No. It's always going to change. Your life path is always going to change. Your mission is always going to change.
And when did you come to know that?
When I realized that stripping stopped, because I remember when I first started, I was like, I want to do this forever. Love it, forbids my family. Couldn't do it forever. My marriage, bodybuilding, All of these things that I was good at, I thought I'd be doing for life. Even training. I remember thinking I'd be training so hard every single day for the rest of my life. And now my training is 3-4 days a week. And it's classes.
You still get that on.
Yeah, thank you. But it's classes. I don't go into the gym, and I don't enjoy going to the gym and smashing myself like I used to. I'd rather have someone do a class, take over, and let me just go through, get it done, and I'm out of the way. Because I've got other things to do in my life. My priorities in life are different now. So I feel that heavy focus of, again, having no other way out. Living in the UK when all my family was Australia, I had no other option but to keep going.
Okay, that's great. So you say if you don't have any other options in life and you see that's a dead end, probably you'll do everything to make it possible.
Look, you're backed into a corner. You've got to do everything. You're going to go one of two ways. You can either be a victim or the hero of your own story. The victims will turn around and go, everything else is against me. The world is against me. I'm fucked. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I've got no other option. I'm just going to go. I'm going to push. I'm going to make it happen. And that's even what I've done here in Dubai. I've been here since November. And the thing, to me, it's just, I'm just doing me. And a lot of people are like, you've done so much in such a short space of time. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
That's me.
That's just what I do, because I don't like sitting around. I don't like waiting for something. Like, yes, I'm very big on surrendering, but I'm surrendering to what I can't control. I control what I can control, and the rest of it,
Surrender.
exactly. And the universe will do its thing.
Amazing. And the affirmation that you told, were you practicing affirmation since long?
Formation is in like a practice.
Yeah, because you told you were used to read a book and about affirmations.
So I never really had any practice that I was following. Information and or like everything I was learning was just because I liked learning. I wanted to learn about trading, but a lot of the I was trading for a bit, and I still am. But a lot of things I was learning was mindset, was mental health, was habits, certain things within the own human psyche. Because if I could make myself better, I could help others. Because look, as a PT, I was more of a therapist than I was anything else.
So true.
So I wanted to make sure that I could be able to offer, to be someone that could listen, but to be able to offer the advice when required, but to make sure what I was doing was helping. I've always been in the position of helping.
For sure.
I always looked at stripping as in the business of changing lives.
Yeah.
Because we used to have women that would come to the show going, I haven't slept with my husband in years, and thank you for like hugging me. Thank you for that. It made me feel loved and held, that I was able to go back and sleep with my husband. So it was almost like we were saving marriages.
But what do you think is the reason? Why does a lot of people come out there? Because of course there's one of this reason, right? But like now everyone is self-aware, everyone watches videos, everyone reads books. Then why this still gap between communication between people? What's one reason?
Well, that's the thing. It's people you can always read. You can read about swimming, but it doesn't make you a good swimmer. People read, but they don't action.
Action.
It's the problem with everything. And people go, oh my God, I've read this about this therapist and he tells me to do this in my relationship.
So what?
But the second it comes to an argument in their relationship, they blow up. It's like, these are the moments that you need to catch yourself and to learn. They're the crucial moments of breaking a cycle and breaking a habit. Is when you're going into a habit, you're about to repeat a cycle, you catch yourself and you go, no, this isn't happening again. And this is where you start to break the cycle.
And how does someone do that? Okay, I understand the fact that you're saying when you try to do that, you just stop yourself and see yourself from a 0.5x angle, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So, of course, it takes a lot of practice.
It takes practice. It takes a lot of self-awareness. And that's where people have to start. They have to work on their own self-awareness. Journaling, meditation, breathwork, becoming aware of your triggers, becoming aware of your cycles and aware of your habits. The self-awareness is key to all of this. You're not just going to be able to stop yourself. It's the self-awareness of the habits and the cycles that you need to break, and making sure you're communicating these things, making sure, like, when you find yourself, I had a moment yesterday where the big thing here is just no matter how self-aware you are, you're still going to be triggered. You're still going to get angry. You're still going to have these things. That's a very big misconception a lot of people have with this. My ex-wife used to say to me, you do all this breath work, why are you calm? Like, that shit I don't agree with. That's just, no. So first off, if you're doing this work and you're doing this, becoming very self-aware, know that you're still going to have these moments. Again, I had a moment yesterday. But the point is, because I have that level of self-awareness, as I was triggering, as I was falling into this moment, I was able to catch myself. And instead of reacting, I responded. I took time. I put my phone down. I was responding to what I needed to respond to, and I was able to handle it in a very different way. That only happened through self-awareness of the previous triggers that I used to have. But people still get afraid. They fall back into comfort. They fall back into what they know. And that's why they continue to repeat the cycle. And they go, oh, why aren't I learning? Why aren't I changing? Why aren't I growing? And say, well, you're not self-aware enough. You can turn around and go, oh, this is my trigger. This is what gets me. But if you don't do anything about it, then your level of self-awareness isn't actually there. You can be aware of it.
Exactly.
But,
So you mean to say, like, as now you're trained, out of 10 times before used to be like 9 times, but now it would be like 1 or 2 times.
1 or 2 times, maybe even 3.
And that's okay. Like, we are humans.
We're humans.
Exactly.
We're humans. We need to live with... The biggest thing in self-awareness is self-love. People don't. People spend so much time punishing themselves. They repeat a habit, they repeat a trigger, they don't learn a lesson, and they punish themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that isn't how self-awareness works. You're kind to yourself. You go, shit, I missed it again. Okay, next time, journal about it, meditate on it, breathe, do something at that moment where you falter, but then also meet yourself with love and compassion, because compassion and love is the only thing that kills negativity, and there's negativity within yourself. So we need to meet ourselves with compassion and love during these moments of trying to break habits and cycles.
Amazing. What are top 2 practices that someone can do for self-love?
Oh, meditation.
Meditation.
100%. Like, I never would have thought I'd be sitting here talking about meditation. I never thought my big thing would be about meditation and personal growth ever in my life.
No way.
Not a chance in hell. And here I am openly saying, sit down and fucking meditate or change your life. Like, literally, when I decided to live at the monastery, like...
Okay, so monastery, when did this period happen and how long were you in monastery?
So we were in Thailand, and we were looking for retreat spaces with the people that I was with in Australia. We were going to start retreats in Thailand. And what had happened one night is I came home, I saw looking at my phone, and I saw a video of a guy called Kevin. And with that is he had a video where he's sitting on a plane. He went like this. He had hair, and then he went like that, and he had no hair.
Oh yeah, the transition.
Yeah, he had that. And I was like, what was that? So I dived into his page, and then I found iMonastery. And iMonastery, what they've done is they've created this monastery in the middle of the forest of Chiang Mai. And it's to help Westerners understand and experience what life like a monk is. Because the Western world, look, if everyone meditated, the world would change. My God, the world would change. But again, ego is still controlling the world, but it's shifting very slowly. That is one thing I think we need to be very aware of, is the shift is changing. We can't control the shift. It's happening in its own pace. But people are getting so angry about the world and the way it is. It's like, yes, the shift is happening. The collective consciousness is shifting. So anyway, the point being, what they've created is it's a 30-day experience. Okay. So you live as a monk. Wow. You do 1 week as a novice. You learn about meditation. You learn about Dharma. You learn everything about what it's like being a monk. From that, you ordain, and you ordain for 3 weeks. You can go for 2 months, 3 months, 2 years, 5 years. You can stay as a part of it. Then you live the same routine every day. You wake up at 4:30, morning chanting 5 to 5:30, morning meditation to 6:30, morning chores until 7, breakfast, time off, Dharma lessons followed by meditation, then lunch, time off, Dharma lessons and meditation, time off, evening chanting, evening meditation, bed.
Wow, when you say Dharma lessons...
So you learn, Dharma is the truth. Dharma is it's like the Bible. It's like the Quran. It's like these things. It's in Buddhism. But the thing is, Buddhism is a way of life. It's not a religion. People think it's a religion. It's not a religion. It's a way of life. And I think one thing that with Buddhism, it's very open to other religions come in there and experience Buddhism. Very open. And I'm a very big believer that all religions are teaching the exact same thing. Yeah. It's just with a different teacher sharing it in their own words, but it's the same thing. For me, I love the experience, and I'm going to go back ordain every year. I'm doing an experience with them at the end of the year, which is about 2 weeks. Wow. But the big thing with them is I had the opportunity to continue on, but my mission wasn't to stay. So I had a very deep experience. I had my awakening when I was there. The awakening was a massive shot straight up. It was almost like a kundalini. Straight up to the point I had tears running out my eyes. I had everything. And basically, I had this rush of a Buddha. Now, they say you reach your first level of enlightenment, and there's 13 levels when you get in a thing of a Buddha. So I had this rush of a Buddha, and I remember sitting there going, fuck, that's not it. That didn't just happen.
Oh, yeah.
No, that didn't just happen. No, that's not it. But then in that meditation, I could see clouds, and I can't visualize. I normally can't visualize. So I saw clouds, and I could part the clouds, not with my hands, but like in my mind's eye, I could part the clouds. I see a starry sky, bright as night. And as soon as I touched it, it would close. And then it kept going and happening. And I was like, oh shit, okay. That afternoon, I've got it all written down in my journal as well, because I was journaling every single day. So I got it written down in my journal, and the next day, later that afternoon, I was meditating, and I felt like someone had one of these lights shine right in front of me. And again, I had that rush where I had tears in my eyes, and I could feel the energy of Buddha on the other side. It was almost like there's a white wall, and I couldn't get through. And it pulled me out. And this is when I started learning non-attachment. From that, I think it was the following week, I then had an experience where I had this vision, again, clear as I see you. It was a baby here and a dark-haired woman here. A few days later, I had another vision of me feeding a baby and a dark-haired woman coming around the corner. After that, going towards the final week, is I then had a download, which was, you need to move to Dubai.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, what do I do with that? It's a whole thing of move to Dubai, because the vision, that what's happening, the world is shifting. The energy here is very, very deep. Everyone is moving here. It's a safe country. The world is already a smart city. Like, everything is happening here in Dubai. And what people see of Dubai is they see social media. There's a very beautiful side to it that people don't understand, but people are very quick to judge. I get asked all the time, why is a monk in Dubai? One, I'm not a monk anymore. But two, I'm here for a reason. And and the download was, it needs people who are grounded, integral, and within their own energy to help the shift that's happening.
But do you think this is because very many number of people are scattered and they are lost, that's why Dubai, or because very many people are already healed and then you can find your group easily?
A bit of both. It's a very, very scattered city with people that are so stuck in anxiety, stress, overwhelm, burnout, all these things, because there's so much happening here. But again, for this world to continue to function, these are the people that are going to change the world and continue to make the world go round. But if they're acting from a place of pure ego, then it's just arguments, or it's not going to work. Look at the carnage that's already been happening in the world. We're literally being led by ego. But if we can help these people start to shift, help them, guide them through their own awakening, their own understanding, through wellness, through self-care, through self-love, then we can start to shift the world. But again, like, we can't change the world as one person. It needs to be done as a collective. And that's why we need to be doing this with other people. This is why you see breathwork, sound journeys, meditation classes, all these things are starting to slowly become more of a thing here.
Yeah, so true, so true. And I really like the time when you told me that you saw attachment, you came out of attachment.
Yeah.
And what does that exactly mean right now in your life? Because if I think in my life, like certain emotions, but let's say like love, falling in love with a girl.
Yeah.
I want to avoid it because I don't want to get attached, but I'm like, why should I do that? It's natural, so let me just flow in. And so what is good?
Well, this is the thing. I think it's attaching to an experience, attaching to a final outcome. So put it this way, when you go into a relationship, I've always been a hopeless romantic. I'm always like, we're going to be together forever.
Exactly.
It's always good. It's what I've always been brought up with. But I also know that that's not all the time completely going to happen. At the end of the day, people are coming into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. They're coming into our life to teach us lessons.
Exactly.
Every failed relationship that I've had has been a lesson.
Okay.
Going forward, every relationship, I would love my next relationship to be my final relationship. I would love that. I want to be a father. I want to be with someone that I can travel the world with and have the experiences with. I want to have a best friend, someone I can share stages with, someone I can grow this beautiful thing that I'm doing, grow it with someone. That's what I want. Then I'm hoping that does happen. But if it doesn't, then it's a lesson.
So true.
But it's knowing that the experience you can have with someone, you appreciate it for exactly what it is. Like, again, my ex-wife, I appreciate the amazing good times that we have. I also appreciate the bad times because they taught me, and they taught me a lot about myself. The thing is, we've had many lifetimes beforehand, we're going to have many lifetimes afterwards. Our soul is just here in this body, going through this lifetime, learning as much as it can to evolve through its own journey. So the more I look at that, the more I can go, cool, I'm learning here. Yes, it's amazing to have these people into my life, but if they don't stay, then it wasn't meant to be. When we look at other things like you're attaching to a car, attaching to a job, attaching to these things, if you look back in your life, how many things you've gone, I'm going to do this forever, and you actually don't stay there. Exactly. You sell your car gets old. You change your job, you get bored of your job. Like, these things happen. When we attachment is suffering. Yeah. Because what is it? You have, well, as a kid, okay, you've got your favorite toy. Someone takes your toy, lose your shit, and you're suffering because you don't have the thing anymore. As we get older, again, if we get into a relationship, it's like, I'm grateful I have you. I'm grateful we're sharing this time together. I'm grateful for it. I'm sad that it's ended. Like, I'm really going to miss you. I'm going to miss the energy. But you've got your life. You need to go do your thing. I can't attach and hold you to that.
Exactly.
That's unfair for me. It's like, you can't hold on to me. We need to go. The less we can attach, like, don't get me wrong, it's easier said than done.
So is it like the thought process you just change?
Yeah. It's a thought process. It's how you view. It's the perspective that you have on the situation. And that's the thing. A lot of people have this idea, this one-track mind of this is exactly how it is. And it's like, in your reality, yes, your reality, that's how it is. But you need to remember that we're at the moment, we are two complete different realities that are co-creating in this moment. We're going to walk outside and walk past all these people, and there are 5, 6 people downstairs. They're going to be then 7 or 8 realities that are co-creating, just walking past each other. Everything around us is a co-creation of different realities that have made exactly what there is here. And that's the thing. We all have very different perspectives. This is why when you see in an argument, you've got 2 people that will have their view of the story and their view of the story. Yeah. Yes, that's correct in your reality. That's correct in your reality. But then it's a co-creation of it. So this is where the communication between 2 realities has to happen. We don't communicate enough.
So how do you say, like, even like there are some people out there who are watching and they want to see whether the friend is good for them, for their life or not. So what are like some basic things that they can judge through?
Well, it's take everything as it was with a pinch of salt. It was actually really funny. One of my clients the other day, we were literally having this conversation because he was talking about a group of his friends where one of their friends had badmouthed him, and next you know, they kind of cut him out. And he was talking about this other friend that he has who was also, there's like a trio. Anyway, what he was telling me about this other friend is they're very much alike. Mindset, everything. He meditates, he goes through the same journey. They're still very young, but they're going through this journey together. But at one point, my client said to him, he's like, I see you, I know who you are. You're a manipulator. You look at me as a friend now, because I'm your friend, but the second you realize that you have no control over me, I am very easy to let go of. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly it. So it's knowing that the people that you have in your life, you'll never truly know who they are 100%. Never. Because again, you could be with someone every single day, but their internal world is their internal world. You will never know.
So true. But this is freaking me out. Like, good people around me are like...
But that's the thing, you don't know. I've been through cycles with people that I thought were good people, and next you know, it's ended up with it being thrown back in my face. But the thing is the last time that happened, I thought this person was here to really support me, but energetically I could feel something was off. And it was when I came out of the monastery, I had a phone call which told me, it confirmed everything, that something was off, that this person had used me and used my name in something that he shouldn't have done. And you just never know. That doesn't say don't give yourself fully to a friendship, don't give yourself fully to a relationship. Definitely do that. But always make sure there's transparency and honesty, and out of everything, listen to your instincts. If your instinct tells you there's something off, communicate what it is. Because that's a big thing. A lot of people will hold on to it and go, oh, I don't know, I don't want to say something. But if we're open and transparent and we communicate with each other, no one is left in the unknown. That's why communication and friendship, and if the friendship doesn't last, then the friendship doesn't last. I've got friends around the world that I speak to maybe twice a year. That's some of my closest friends.
So that's about friendship and other people. Now talking about ourselves, right? Like I've seen a lot of people right now, because of social media, they're scattered around and like they don't have focus, they don't have patience. How can someone overcome that? Of course, meditation.
Look, I think it's definitely easier said than done. Is if you're frustrated, you're angry, go for a walk, change your energy, put a podcast in, get into nature, go and do things that are completely out of the state that you're currently in the position that you're in. Because a lot of people, they sit in the energy, say they're in a house, they've had an argument, something just happened, a text has gone wrong, they stay in that room, their energy's just gone in and it's held inside those walls. Put your phone down, get out, go for a walk, get outside. Obviously in Dubai it's a bit difficult because it's so warm, but it's change your state, change your environment, change those things. And in those moments, allow yourself to be there, feel those feelings. Feel those feelings, just don't stay in those feelings. Like, feel it, acknowledge it, go, okay, cool, this is why I'm feeling like this. Okay, cool. Look at it with compassion for whatever the reason is and move through it. The only way we get past these emotions, the only way that we move through anxiety, anger, fear, and all these is if we sit through those emotions and we don't allow them to have hold over us anymore. Because a lot of people, we try to suppress them, we try to push it down. And unfortunately, that's why the anxiety gets worse. That's why the anger gets worse, because we don't actually sit through it and understand why we've been feeling like that.
So true.
As soon as we feel it, we understand it, it loses its hold over us. But again, don't sit in it for a day or two, because if that becomes a mood.
Oh, yeah, so true. Also, I have some people right now in their lives, they are trying to evolve. They want to move out of their houses, go to different countries as you did. But then again, the family is holding them, not in terms of, no, you need to be here, but in terms of they're sick or they're sad, and then the person is supporting them. So what can someone do out of this?
As in the family sad that they want to leave.
Exactly.
Again, you don't leave, like this can be very touchy, but you cannot, your family isn't your life. You've got your loyalty, yes, they brought you into this world. But at the end of the day, you're stopping your life being lived because of the way they're making you feel. No one should make you feel inferior without your consent. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt. So no one can make you inferior without your consent. If you're going to sit there and go, I can't travel because my family feel bad or they're making me feel bad, that's on you. That's a choice you're making every single day. If you want to go out and you want to live your life, that's completely up to you.
But what if they're sick enough? And
if
then
the family's sick?
Yeah.
Well, okay, if the family's sick again and you feel there's a responsibility, yes, it's a bit of a different story. But again, I'm still very much in the state of like, I know it's a tough one. It is.
I think it should be, for me, I thought like I was really confused to that person. I was like, try to balance, like stay most of the time with your family. And then once in a while you try to move out and be apart by yourself and see how you can, manage these two situations and analyze yourself in these two different situations.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, yeah.
I agree. I think it's a very complex topic because there are a lot of people as well when we dive into certain conditions where it's these parents have convinced themselves they are sick or they're in a position to go, I don't want these people to leave me, so I'm going to be this way to make sure no one leaves me. And it's like, people don't realize that there are, like, because again, where we are now, with our age, now generation, is very different to the older generation. And a lot of those older generation, they're still playing on from the way their parents were.
They're smart.
Exactly. They're smart, but they're also can be very self-absorbed and like, I made you, don't leave me. So, and it can end up I've had friends that literally, their parents have made themselves be sick because of what they've said, constantly telling themselves that I'm sick, you can't leave me, you can't do this, which has then stopped that person leaving, which is unfair because that person then can't live their life. And then they get to 30 or 40 and they go, I haven't lived. Like,
I mean, that's what I understand from this situation is I usually say that your parents are big giant babies of their parents.
100%.
So just, feel good with them and understand what they have done good for you. Yeah. And if they have done bad, just understand as a person, you will also do something bad. So you will try to avoid that in your children.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we're their parents because a lot of people, they feel like, why should I forgive my parents? They treated me like this. At the end of the day, I put up a few posts on this about forgiveness. And people go, well, I'm not forgiving them. At the end of the day, you're not forgiving them for them, you're forgiving them for you. And you forgive them for you through compassion of understanding where they are in their life. We're not born bad people. But especially the older generation, the way they were, they're treating you how their parents treated them. Mm-hmm. And then it just comes down the line. Again, it's not condoning the way they treat them or have treated them. What it is you're either living to a victim of what they are, or you're becoming the hero of the story. Yeah. There was that story of those two kids, those two boys, alcoholic father. Father died, and both these kids, as they grew up, one became an alcoholic, one became successful. They were both asked the exact same question of what made you who you are today, and they both gave the same answer. I'm this way because my father. One of them became a victim to his life, and the other one became extremely successful to it. This is the thing. Everything is love around us. Everything is happening to us to grow, to learn, to become the best version of ourselves. We can become victims of those things, or we can become heroes of them and grow.
Wow. So you became the hero of your world by also becoming a monk. I want to understand what it is like to be a monk. Like, is it just sitting in silence and of course going through yourself more, like understanding yourself more through different practices, like meditations, of course. And like, do you also had active meditations or just like passive?
No.
Oh, nice.
So we did walking meditations as well. A lot of it, look, when we were there, there was no silence. You were only silent during meditation. There was still talking. We had no phones, we had no social media, no music, no TVs. We followed the 227 precepts from 2,500 years ago. We were in the middle of a rainforest. We had nothing but nature around us. Like we were lucky. We had a group of about 8 guys, and it was a beautiful brotherhood that we all connected. We could have these deep conversations. We could be there for one another. We could read Dharma. We could read books. We could turn around, journal. We could meditate all day if we wanted. But the journey for every single person that goes there is different. There was one guy that joined with us. He went there because he would be dead otherwise. He was heavily suffering addiction, and he signed up for 2 years, and it's changed his life completely.
For sure.
For me, I went there to find out more of who I was underneath everything that currently was exactly who Ashley is. Again, I was a stripper, I was a bodybuilder, I was all these things, but there was someone underneath that I needed to understand who it was. And through that's where I found, again, the awakening. That's where I understood true happiness comes from within. That I understood the power that we have within ourselves to be able to unlock a deeper knowledge that is literally inside all of us. But it's only found when we have peace.
So you want to say make peace with yourself?
Yeah, it's make peace with myself, but to know that the experience of 30 days added 30 years to my life. Look, that may be an over-exaggeration, but I found a practice which I now know during the day, if I'm feeling a bit on edge, I haven't meditated today. I need to do that.
Let's do that.
But that's what I do. So I'm like, I need to meditate. So I'll go through it, I'll meditate, and I'll come out, I'll feel better. So that's the big thing that I found with it is I have the power within inside me to be able to find my own true happiness, to be able to calm my nervous system. With that thing that happened when I came out of the monastery, I would not have responded the way I did if I hadn't just spent 30 days at a monastery. Because my whole life got flipped upside down. Yet I was able to handle the situation completely, which then brought me here. And I've been living in a state of full surrender since I've been here, and everything has been happening very quickly. Wow,
that's amazing. And you said you practice a lot of mantras.
So the mantra that I use is Samma Arahang, which is purify the mind. So what you do is on the breath in, so you go Samma, on the breath out, you go Arahang, but you do it in the mind. So it's run off the breath. So there are many mantras that you can do. Like you can do I am. You can do Soham. Like there are so many different ones that you can do. The one that I always found worked for me was Samma Arahang, because I could do it with the breath. It's a cycle. And it'd be the Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang. And I could say that for an hour straight. But the thing is, I would notice, like a lot of people that haven't meditated before, they go, what does it mean when you say bring your mind back to center? Bringing your mind back to center is when you catch yourself off with the thoughts, is bringing your mind back to a mantra or the breath. The mantra and the breath is here, but your thoughts are over here. So to bring yourself back to here. So if you're saying Samma Arahang or whatever mantra works for you, what you'll do is you'll catch yourself thinking of something and you go, oh, hold on. Samma Arahang. You'll do that for another 5 minutes. Samma Arahang. And you bring yourself back.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And you may get to a point when with your meditation that you've stopped saying that, but you are still.
Wow. I did this 45-minute breathwork today, and of course it was money manifestation. And I remember the same thing. I'm flying somewhere with my thoughts, and then I'm coming back, flying and coming back. So I want to understand you as a person right now in your life. Are you also like going here, or you're here most of the time?
Most of the time I'm here.
Wow.
Most of the time I'm here, but with most of the time means I'm being fully present. Yes, because there is a lot happening at the moment. There is, especially the past week or 2 weeks, the past 2 weeks, I've been a lot more here, but I'm also very aware of it. So this is why I'm making sure, like, my normal morning routine is I'll get up, I'll go for a run, I'll stretch, I'll come back, I'll breathe, I'll meditate, I'll do brain games, I'll journal, and then I'll have breakfast. It's about 3 hours. But at the moment, I can't do that.
Oh.
There are a few things happening in my life at the moment which have just, everything's kind of uplifted at the moment. So I'm very aware of what's going on. I said I've got my injury that's also playing an effect. So I can't run. There are certain things that I can't do. I can't train as much as I normally would. But I'm also very aware of what's happening. So instead of me not being able to get my 3 hours in, is I'm doing exactly what I can. I'm getting my half an hour meditation in. I'm still doing my brain games. I'm still journaling. I'm still stretching. But I'm doing what I can to make sure I'm still as grounded as possible.
Amazing. When you say brain games, what's one thing?
So learning Spanish.
Well, ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Well, this is it. So I'm learning Spanish. Was it Esto bien?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Yeah, there you go. So I'm slowly learning Spanish. Sudoku is another thing as well.
Okay.
So I play that regularly. So I'm just learning different things. Guitar as well, I need to pick guitar back up. So I'm just trying to learn different things that are challenging my mind.
Wow, that's amazing, because as you have been a multi-national player, I should say, or multi-gamer, or because you do so many things in your life, and as you told me your story before, you're been doing so many things.
Yeah.
So one tip or advice to someone who is like just doing one thing a day and they are okay with it, but you should tell them to, expand and do something more.
Well, it depends. Like, I like challenging myself. Okay. I've always liked challenging myself. I like, again, expanding my mind with neuroplasticity to become as aware as I can. Because a lot of my family have Alzheimer's. I've lost all of my grandparents to Alzheimer's. Okay. So I've always looked at that as in like, and I used to look at them and I'd see how they were living their lives towards the end of it. And I'm like, that was just a brain dead way to live. I love them. It was a brain dead way to live. I'm not for that. So I want to be challenging myself. I want to make sure I'm constantly learning and growing. But if you're doing one thing that you love, keep going. Become the professional, become the expert at the thing that you love.
So nice, amazing. And now you're having these breathwork sessions at different amazing places here in Dubai. What do you want to say about that? How did you manifest this? Of course, you worked hard for it, but what are some few ways that you did that?
The big thing is realizing that you have a plan, but plans fail. So I'm a very powerful manifestor. I've put these things out into the universe, but I've just let them go and I've surrendered to how they happen. I'm not controlling how they happen.
So true.
So I was Breezy reached out to me and said, we'd love to do something with you. I was like, cool, let's see what we can do. They brought me in for the breath work and I've created my own breath work. So I guide them live, I do everything myself. And we did it and they said, this is amazing. Let's continue working with you. It was I've got a few things in the pipeline, let's make this happen. So that's how Aura Skyfalls happened, working with 5. I run my own one on a Wednesday night. I do the breathwork and ice bars on Saturdays. There's a lot more in the pipeline that we're doing, which is very exciting. So I'm very grateful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You also do online coaching as well, I believe, one-on-one.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to tell it's for who, which kind of people that you directly address to.
Well, the first thing is it's for anyone that can afford the coaching. That's the first thing. But it's to help people remember who they are. Remove limiting beliefs, remove self-doubt, add mindfulness and wellness practices into their life. Because a lot of people don't realize that they're too external. They're trying to control situations outside of them and wondering why they're not working. They're trying to solve a problem with the energy of the problem. instead of stepping away from the problem, going inwards and doing another thing to allow the solution to come. It's helping people remember exactly who they are to be able to do that. Because at the end of the day, look, we're babies. As babies, we were never conditioned to do these certain things. We lived in a life of surrender the entire time. And over the years, we've been conditioned and conditioned and conditioned to be a certain way. Where now, it's remembering who we are, remembering that life of surrender within us. Once we have that, our life completely changed. This is the thing. A lot of people here, again, suffering stress and anxiety, overwhelm, working within the financial district. They're constantly, life is about money. They're constantly in this routine where they're battling over, what was the word? They're battling burnout. They're battling these things. They're trying to fight against something with the power of the problem. Yes, they may be living very financial lives, but you find that they're unhappy in a lot of other spaces. It's getting people that are happy within their own life to then get them to excel in every other aspect of their life. So
what's one thing that anyone could do while listening to this podcast that, okay, I need to change one thing in my life so that I can become a better person?
Start practicing self-awareness. Start going inwards. Start sitting with your triggers. Start sitting with the things that you know that you don't like about yourself. Start feeling into those things that make you feel uncomfortable. Because that thing that makes you feel uncomfortable is the thing you need to work through to grow and to elevate.
Exactly. And with this thing in Dubai that you have made, how many good people that you really found out that you're like, okay, Dubai also has a good community that you could relate to?
How did I find it?
Yeah. Did you find it?
Yeah, I've definitely found it. Look, I've got some very good connections here that introduced me to the community. Now, look, with every community, there are still people that are there for the wrong reasons. But I've been very good at picking up the energy of the people within the community that I trust, that I want to share my energy with. Yeah. But yeah, you find it in Dubai, don't you?
That's nice. That's interesting. And what are your next few plans here in Dubai?
We've got another few venues for the floating breathwork we're putting together. Again, over the summer, I'm going to be here a lot because I'm running these events. There's so many things in the pipeline, like of events, speaking engagements, furthering my coaching, all these other things. So there's so much happening at the moment.
Nice. So you think you are really now aligned with your person who you are in your core essence and what you want to do?
I'm more aligned than I've ever been. Look, at the end of the day, we are never fully, truly aligned.
Okay, thank you for that fact.
Yeah.
Now it's
yeah, we're never fully, truly aligned. Like, we're always learning, we're always growing, we're students of life.
Yeah.
Like, say your true alignment is here, we can be here. But there's we're still learning and growing. We'll have days where we fall fucking bang on, we're in alignment, but there are other days where we're off.
So true.
I used to be to be fair, in my days of stripping, I was aligned with who I was there. I'm here, my other alignment's here. We have different alignments in where we are. Now I feel like I'm living my purpose. My mission. Because I believe our purpose in life is all the same. To live and to grow and to experience life. But we all have a different mission. I believe now I'm living my true mission. That's it.
That's good. So for some listeners who are right now in pain, what do you think is the root cause of pain? Like some general things that are root cause of the pain and how they can solve it?
Emotional, physical.
Emotional.
This is the thing. This goes a lot deeper because there are some people that are in some heavy, traumatic, deep emotional pain where this wouldn't work for this.
Yeah.
I think if we generalize it, is acknowledge the pain, acknowledge what it is, sit with it. Why am I hurting? Be brutally honest with yourself about why you're in that situation and why you're feeling like this. Because a lot of the time, is the things that we're telling ourselves are generalizations. We're saying things like everyone, always, no one. There are all these big blanket statements that we're then attaching to why we feel these certain ways. No one likes me. Everyone's against me. I don't feel validated by people. Narrow that down and go, okay, who's everyone? Who's people? Why don't you feel like this? And 9 times out of 10, you'll realize it's a story that your ego's told you, and you're stuck in that position. Now, again, this is obviously generalizing. This is a lot easier said than done. But it takes with brutal honesty with ourselves of understanding why we are feeling these ways. 9 times out of 10, you'll find that what you're feeling is because you're acting from a primal state of, you're acting from a primal state of being. And usually in those states, the thoughts and the things you're telling yourself are never true. So we've got 2 states of being, which is beautiful, which I've taken from a guy called David Bayer, which is beautiful. You're in 2 states there are 2 states, and you're only in 1 state at a time. It's either primal or powerful. Your primal states are all the feelings, negative emotions, anger, overwhelm, sadness, all these sorts of things. And most of the time, what you're feeling is not what you're feeling isn't incorrect, but the story you're telling yourself around the feeling can be incorrect. Then when you come back into your powerful state, you'll find that a lot of the things are true because it resonates with who you are.
That's good. So one of the practice that I do is I also run every day morning. So I'm like talking to myself and I'm talking good stuff like I'm doing this, I'm best, And I think really it helps me out.
100%. It's great. It's like gratitude, writing gratitude lists. I think one trick that people can use, every day write down 3 things you're grateful for. Every day, but 3 different things. Do it for 10 days. But every day, go back and before you write the next 3, say to yourself the previous days. At the end of the day, before you even started your day, you're telling yourself 50 things you're grateful for. That's power. Our words are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. Everything that we have is energy, is powerful. So if I start the day in a positive way, like that.
So gratitude is super powerful.
100%.
Yes. What's one thing for the people who cry? Is it good? Is it bad? For men especially.
Oh, cry, dude. Fucking cry. Cry, because cry is a release of energy that needs to be taken out of the body. As men, we've been conditioned to be a certain way from our parents, from our grandparents, for these sorts of things. We've got emotions, release them. If you don't release your emotions, they build up. Exactly. It doesn't matter what you've been told. It doesn't matter if you doesn't feel masculine or anything like that. Release it. It's energy it's stuck energy that needs to come out. Again, if people don't release, people push these traumas down, people push these emotions down, it comes out and affects you in so many other ways. Illness, disease, anger, you name it, it comes out in a way that's not going to be very powerfully impactful for your life. Release it. Real men cry. Real men hug each other. Real men open up and talk. Like, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. Like, the second we remove this stigma against not sharing your emotions, no matter your religion, race, sex, or fucking whatever it is, emotions need to be heard and valued and understood. Let them out.
Yeah, thank you so much for this, because it's the message that I really want to share this out, because a lot of people are still living in this stereotype and they're still confused, but now we need to be self-aware and of course spread the word out there.
100%. 100%. And again, the world is shifting at the moment out of what used to be.
Yeah.
And by it shifting out of what it used to be, is now coming into the state where people are awakening and people are starting to realize that, like I see back in Australia, I've got friends that run men's retreats and men's circles and warrior retreats. And you've literally got men standing in front of each other, staring into each other's eyes, bawling their eyes out. Then they're doing other things where they're literally hitting into a pillow and then screaming about everything they've held in for so fucking long. It's so powerful. Because when that happens, that release of energy is now out of the person, which then changes their life and their energetic frequency going forward. So it's so powerful to go through this, to not be scared of your own healing, to not be scared of the emotions coming up, to not be scared of what people are going to think about you. Usually people are going to make a judgment of you going through your own journey, your own healing. It's because them seeing you healing, them seeing you doing these things makes them feel uncomfortable with the things within themselves. So they feel it's better to bring you down. During this journey, you're going to lose so many people. And it's okay. You don't need them in your life. They are the frequencies that are just going to bring you down. You want to be around people that understand you, that hear you, that validate you, that make you feel seen, but support you on your journey. That's what we want in this life.
So true. So true. What do you think about the people who experience plant medicine to reach the awakening? Is it good? Is it bad?
I believe it's a vessel. Plant medicine is something that shouldn't be abused. Plant medicine is something that is a calling. Like I've sat with ayahuasca, I've done Kambo, I've done mushrooms, I've done LSD, I've done all sorts. Some in party aspects, other of the deeply spiritual ones, done in shamanistic respects. I believe it is a tool. I believe the inner work can be done by yourself with meditation and breath work and journaling and self-awareness. But they are ways that can basically throw you in the deep end, and you can acknowledge what's going on quite quickly. Like the way I've always described like deep plant medicine ceremonies, journeys, there's that movie, the Meg 2. In the Meg 2, they have the bottom of the ocean. And the bottom of the ocean, they talk about the thermocline. Now, the thermocline is a theory that there is a thick layer of gas storing a prehistoric world underneath. I believe when we do deep holotropic breath work, deep meditations, plant medicines, that removes the thermocline so we can see everything else that the mind has pushed down and suppressed. From that, the plant medicine allows us to speak what the mind never could. Through breath work, holotropic breath work, the body allows us to speak what the mind never could and what the words never could. Everything we push down. So it just gives you that opening going, here's your shit. But again, if you go into it with an expectation, you won't see anything.
Of course, surrender.
Exactly. No expectations. It's like no attachment.
What's the best one that you thought is which resonated with you in terms of calling?
So I sat with ayahuasca 9 times.
9.
Yeah, 9 times. Everything was a different journey that I was going through at that point in time.
9 is my lucky number.
No, yeah. I had very different experiences every time.
Okay.
And each one was meant to. If I did it now, I think the experience again would be very different because I'm mentally in a very different place to what I was then.
So true.
I've done a few solo mushroom journeys where I put headphones on an eye mask and I just go deep and just surrender to what's coming.
Wow. So
again, they all serve their own beautiful purpose.
What do you think about Kambo, the DMT?
So Kambo was so DMT, I've done that as well.
Oh, yeah.
I've done DMT as well, but Kambo was the frog medicine.
Frog medicine, yeah. So I think I'm talking about Bufo. Yeah.
Bufo. So I haven't done Bufo yet. I really want
Haven't?
to. No, I really want to experience Bufo.
I think that's my medicine.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been told some beautiful things about it.
Yeah.
So what was your experience?
Oh wow, it's been amazing. I think it takes away the soul and the body.
Yeah.
It's all different, and I think it puts down all your egos, who you are as a person. You're into another, not just another world, another planet, but somewhere far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it changes a lot about you, I think, as a person. And I've done like only 2 times, but again, it's very guided. And I haven't done like in 6 months or so, but it's been like 1 year, and then after 1.5 years, so that I can really integrate and make the best use in my life. So I think that's the best way to go about all these medicines.
I agree. I think the biggest thing with plant medicine as well is if you have an incredibly deep experience, you can feel, oh my God, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do this. If you don't implement the things afterwards and you don't integrate that into your life, then your life doesn't change. It shows you exactly the things that need to happen in your life. But at the end of the day, you're the only one that can change it and do it. This is why people don't break habits. You say, oh, I'm not going to do this ever again. I'm never going to do this again. Like, I'm never going to go drinking again. And then next you know, they're out drinking again. It's like, because you've had this awakening, but then you go out and you do this. Like, no, things don't integrate and change your life unless you physically change them.
Exactly.
That's the thing I think a lot of people miss with all of these. They go to Tony Robbins events or big events. They get all hyped up and they go, fuck yeah, I'm going to change my life. This is going to happen. They go home and they fall back into a depression. It's like, because you're not changing your life.
Yeah. So this was one of the amazing thing. I was at Mind Valley this year and I saw a lot of people, amazing people doing good stuff. They're sharing knowledge. And then they're like, are you coming to Amsterdam? I was like, okay, let me think about it. I was like, because I still need to understand, because there's so amazing speakers, and I was like, just like this all the time. I was like hearing them. I was not even talking to anyone. And I was mind blown by the speakers, right? So much amazing stuff. Now I need to integrate it. And at least like some few things, if I put in my life, then it makes sense. But now everyone is hyped about the next event that they want to go.
That's unfortunately, like, that makes them money. Those big corporations are making money that way.
Oh yeah.
And that's amazing for them. But unfortunately, it comes down to the people to integrate exactly what they've learned. Nothing changes unless you change.
Yeah.
And change is a choice.
Change is a choice.
Exactly. Everything in life is a choice. Even if you feel like you don't have a choice, it's still a choice.
Every choice is a choice.
Every choice is a choice. Exactly. Everything is a choice in your life. So it's up to you to make the choice that's going to best put you in the position of where you want to be in your future.
How can someone make the right choices most of the time?
You're about to go down an old habit. Okay? You have a conscious moment of going, oh, I probably shouldn't do that.
Appreciate myself more.
Yeah, but this thing, in that moment, you're like, I probably shouldn't do that, but you do it anyway. That's a conscious choice. That moment there is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
People go, oh, but I'm not strong enough to change. It's like, no, this is where the self-awareness comes in and the inner work that you've got to do on yourself to become self-aware, to help you change that moment. But that's still a conscious choice that you are making to go down that old habit. So catch yourself when you're making those choices. It's almost like we flip a coin and we go, see what happens. You'll flip a coin and you go, okay, if it lands on heads, I'm doing this. If it lands on tails, I'm doing this. It lands on tails and you still choose what heads is. You've chosen to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's all a choice.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is going to help you elevate and grow? Are you doing this out of ego, or are you doing this because it's actually better for you? Thank you very much.